chilling than nightmares. Blacker than the darkest corners of your mind.
Vicky, you back? Ah!
You are about to experience the unholiest terror of all.
Lana, open your mouth wider.
You are about to receive the deadly blessing. Deadly Blessing, rated R.
I was raised in this rather unusual background of fundamentalist Baptist church that did not condone going to movies.
Well, you said you had no kids.
Alice left us a long time ago, Sergeant. The Lord saw fit to come and take her.
Going to movies was considered too sinful. And I went to a Christian college, too, where it was forbidden, so I would have been expelled if I had been caught. I hitchhiked to the next town and saw To Kill a Mockingbird. And literally that was like the epiphany for me. It was like, if this is considered sin, they gotta be wrong.
Grab yourself! The fires of hell are hotter!
That was my beginning of my exit. You know, grew my hair long and took lots of drugs and lived in communal situations. And the whole society was just turning over in this remarkable way.
I really didn't have a background in film or exposure to them much until I was teaching college. And then I was suddenly engulfed in all the great filmmakers of the 60s.
Sights and sounds far beyond anything you've tested. The last house on the left. To avoid fainting, keep repeating. It's only a movie. Only a movie. Only a movie. Take as much as you can. Only a movie.
I think after I had made Last House, I saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And remember sitting in the theater thinking, this must have been made by like some sort of troupe of mad, insane people, you know. Which was, I think, a great realization because I later realized people thought that about me.
That was a bad mistake.
Subsequent to that, I've always said, you know, if you're designing a scary movie, the first thing that you have to frighten your audience with is yourself.
Oh, you go with my baby.
Get out of the way, Dick. A mother fighting for her child loses it in the worst possible way.
This whole idea of censorship and whether horror films are good or bad or whether they cause people to do things.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
I don't think he's dead. Contact. He's among you.
Now, Wes Craven brings you his greatest creation.
No more!
Aren't you afraid your films cause this or that? Again, going all the way back to Greek mythology, there's a lot of great literature that is about horror, and that somehow a story about horror, in a sense, exercises it or gives it a form. It's the beginning of being able to come to terms with it. And that if you were to prevent these stories, you would, in a sense, be allowing something that is ineffable to sort of travel unimpeded through our consciousness, because it would not have a name, it would not have a shape given to it.
Please, God.
This is God.
I think a good horror director is talking about, you know, the primal fears, and if you want to be honest about talking about those things, you have to get down to the nitty-gritty about fear and things people do to each other.
I guess what I've tried to do is I've tried to make movies where I can honestly say, I haven't seen that before.
Tina?
And to follow my deepest intuitions and, in some cases literally my dreams, and to try to do things that speak to sort of the areas outside the fences, where the wild animals are. Every civilization has its own grid of what it thinks reality is and what its proper behavior and what is civilized. And usually what happens is that sooner or later that grid is shattered, and something like World War II happens, or you wipe out the Native American population, or Spain invades South America and decimates virtually every living creature there and takes over. And then suddenly the grid is back, and we're civilized and we're religious and we're this and that. But there seems to be a deeper grid that I've tried to find, and that is how the engine of life really works. And I think it works a lot off of violence, like it or not. And it works off a lot off of things that are not rational and very difficult to perceive, and in some ways can only be sort of adumbrated, sort of sketched and shadow played in films and in horror films.
Deadly friend. She can't live without you.
Why would anybody pay to go into a theater to be scared? And I say they don't go into a theater to have fear put into them. They go into a theater to have fear taken out. Life is scary, and it's life plays for keep, and you end up dying at the end. And along the way, there are lots of things that can kill you, and that causes a great amount of anxiety. And we kind of sit on it and mask it and everything else, but you need to deal with it in some way. What you need to do is you need to face the reality, even though it's painful. Nancy in Nightmare on Elm Street, everybody wanted to deny that Freddy existed. She was the one person that saw him, knew he was real, and dealt with it.
You face things. That's your nature. That's your gift. But sometimes you have to turn away, too. Freddy.
You think you was gonna get away from me?
I know you too well now, Freddy.
No, you die.
It's too late, Kruger. I know the secret now. This is just a dream. You're not alive. This whole thing is just a dream. I want my mother and friend again.
What?
I take back every bit of energy I gave you. You're nothing. You're shit. Right.
And that, I think, is a very positive message and story. And when you go into a theater like that, it's like you might as well be sitting around the fire 100,000 years ago with the shaman telling you a story. So it's a safe place to be terrified and have literally the shit scared out of you. I can see that I give my audiences something, I can see it in their eyes, and they say thank you a lot. So you realize you're doing something that means something to people, so shut up and get back to work.
Based off the films you're making today, what do you think scares kids?
I think it's the same thing. It's adults.
Children misbehaving in the basement and one in the wall doing his business, God knows where. You kids will be the death of me.
Get to a full anesthetic, stat. We don't have that here, doctor. No anesthetic, you say? Screw it then, I'm going in.
Little bugger's full of something I don't like. Let's get him open, good and proper. Cut this evil out of him.
Beyond that, I don't think it's possible to, or advisable, or even smart to call yourself an artist or talk about yourself as an artist. I mean, it's very difficult to know what will later be judged as art. I have no idea whether anything I've done is of any significance or not. You know, it's like the end of Casablanca in a way. You know, probably most of what we do doesn't amount to a hill of beans. But it's been fun. It's been fun to be in the business and to survive. It's been fun to sit in the back of audiences and watch them scream and jump and laugh. Somebody once, when I was first starting in films in New York, says, if you want something on your gravestone in the film business, I think the best thing is filmmaker. If you can honestly say that, that's all you need to say. And that I think I would like that on my gravestone, along with whatever you do, don't fall asleep.